Hey, it's Allison with Bloom Culture. I'm looking a little bit of a hot mess. I wasn't planning on filming a little bit today, but I just got back from the flower market with all of these beautiful flowers and I couldn't resist. I wanted to tell you what we got for the tutorial that we're going to be filming tomorrow. We are going to be tackling large ceremony pieces, which when I talk to the majority of my clients and the majority of my brides and couples, they're really scared about this. So I figured why not just nip it in the bud and do some tutorials on the bigger pieces like a ceremony urn, an arch, or a pergola. There's lots of different things, but we're gonna tackle those first and really show you how easy it can be and that you can totally do it. But I wanted to show you guys what I found at the flower market. So this is Scoop Scabiosa. I'm just gonna go gadget arms right here to show you how beautiful that is. I mean, look at the stem length. This is slightly unreal. I'm just going to give it a really quick snip at the bottom. I want to keep this stem length because when we're working with large pieces, we want, to create some reach and have some impact. So these babes are really gorgeous. I'm going to dunk them in some water. If you've seen our prep tutorial, which I'm not sure if that one's up yet, so you probably haven't seen it. We go over how to process, but as you can see, I already have all of my buckets washed and vases. I always hide this one, but I mean, you don't have to use buckets. I pretty much, when I'm at home, I just use whatever I have. This is like a plastic pitcher from Target. As long as it holds water, you're gonna be good. But look at these Ranunculus. So I wanted to do more of a fun and vibrant color palette. So we've got some deep plums, we've got some coral, I've got some Terracotta Carnations, which are pretty much the hottest thing right now in the floral, maybe not the hottest thing, but I think they're pretty great. I might be behind the times, but I think they're really beautiful. So these really beautiful Ranunculus, we're gonna give them overnight to hydrate, and that's what we suggest for all of our DIY clients, is when you get them, just let them hydrate overnight before you start to arrange with them. I'm gonna put these in water over here. I'll give you guys the full view or take a few pictures to show you everything hydrating. These are our beautiful coral Ranunculus. I'm gonna say some really cheesy things because I'm just winging it right now. So just go with me on this. Sometimes you have to bust these out of the packaging. But these are gonna open up to be probably the most gorgeous shade of coral and the peachy coral color, which trust me, if I ordered this, I would not get it in, but when you find it, oh, it's just so pretty. I'm gonna give these a quick snip and put these in their flower water home. I also got some bigger bloomed flowers. I got some hydrangea. They come packaged with a sleeve, and then when you get them, they're gonna have a little water source, a little water tube. It's actually like a little water bag that comes tied to it. When you are processing these, make sure that when you're cutting these, don't just drop them on the floor, because guarantee that you're gonna step and squirt the water everywhere and slip on them like I have. So when you're cutting these, just make sure you cut them in a place that and that you can just throw them away pretty quickly. With hydrangeas, you want to get them in water as soon as possible. They are a flower that just soak up water. They don't do well. I kind of don't like to put them in bouquets just because they don't do super well outside of water. Gotta snap those guys off. Sometimes you'll sacrifice some leaves, but that's okay. But you want to get these a quick snip and in water. You can kind of tell they might be a little smashed from transit or travel. So when you get your blooms, take the sleeves off as fast as you possibly, not like go gadget arms fast, but pretty quickly. Get them in water, give them a snip, and get them hydrating. They might come a little flattened or a little smashed, but give them some space in your bucket and they will just really start to open up as they start to hydrate. All right, moving on. I got lavender stock. Stock is one of the most consistent flowers when it comes to color, and so I like to use stock a lot. It also has, I've talked about it before, again, you might not have seen all of our tutorials, but I love their linear bloom structure. I love their long stem length. So they're really great for larger pieces and for just creating different shapes if you don't want something that's a sphere, or maybe a little, if you do want something a little less traditional. But look at these guys. Like how incredibly gorgeous. Oh, those are so pretty. And stock smells really great too. I kind of feel like I'm on a cooking show where I'm like, smells so good. And you're like, does it? That's great, because I can't smell it. And like when I'm watching cooking shows, I'm like, that's so wonderful. That could actually taste like crap. But you're sitting here telling me it smells real or tastes really good. But stock really does smell good. So does wax flower, which we'll get to in a minute. And then we are moving on to our Terracotta Carnations, which, I mean, for the price point that these babies are and for the color, I'm just really glad that I would say not all carnations have made a comeback in the floral arena, but antiqued carnations or vintage carnations or whatever, the style or the grower is. But these are 25 stems a bunch. These open up really beautifully. Again, this happens to everybody. You're going to lose a head every now and then. That's okay. You kind of expect to have a little bit of loss. I would still save this and put it in a small vase, and like you can use these for your cakes. You're going to hear me say this all the time. Just save everything. I'm a flower hoarder, so maybe don't go flower hoarder status, but maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe you do. But these are the Terracotta Carnations. Their color, I mean, the color variation, it's just really, really beautiful. Like their name, I was gonna say it's like terracotta. That's literally their name is terracotta. So I'm gonna get these in some water. Get these guys hydrating. Give them space to open up. This is a smaller flower order, but typically when you are getting your flowers in for your wedding, you'll probably have multiple bunches, as I fall over, multiple bunches of Terracotta Carnations. We've got another head that's snapped, but you can still keep these and use them, and I will show you how. All right, and then we've got our roses. So this is a variety that's new to me, but it opens up incredibly beautiful, which is another reason why it's really smart to work with us, because we know what varieties are gonna open really nice. You're not gonna get a rose that's just really tight and really closed, like when you get the Sam's variety, or like when you go to a grocery store, just like a really tight, I call them bullets, just a really bullet-sized rose. These guys have such a beautiful petal structure to them. They open up, I mean, just gorgeous, the size of your, like, I say the size of your face, like if you've got a small face, but like maybe the size of a fist. I'm like, I have like a man-sized hand. So the size of your fist, and what you're gonna wanna do, oh, did I forget my little stripper? Well, I'm gonna get these in water and then I'm gonna fully process them, but you don't want all of these stems, you don't want all of these leaves and everything to really muck up the water, but you do want to get these in water as soon as possible. So since I can't find my stripper, I'm sure it's under here, under the giant mess of things, since I can't find that. But typically what you'll do is you'll just strip down the stems like that, give it a cut about 1 inch to a 1/2 inch up on an angle, and then stick it in the water and give it some lots of space to open up. But this is a before, so just remember, like this is before, when I just got it back from the flower market. It's closed and tight, but these will open up absolutely gorgeous and really, really big. But I'm just gonna do a really quick batch cut on these so I can finish processing for you guys. They also come with cardboard and some packing, so just gently pull those out, making sure that you don't snap any of your stems or any of your heads. Again, in our processing tutorial, we go through how to properly process each of your stems of roses. Yeah, you want to clean off all of that excess greenery, and that way you can keep the flowers more fresh. They're not going to be, the water's not going to be gunked up by all this stuff, but we'll do that later just for the sake of time, but we will do it. And when I put it in the water, I just kind of let them, as you'll see, like they're kind of staggered in there. Just give them some space to hydrate. You don't want them to be too crowded, but these guys are going to just open up so beautifully. And then with all of your excess packaging, I like to recycle as much as I possibly can. So I suggest doing that. The last thing that we have kind of in our floral category is wax flower. This is considered a filler flower, but this is like my jam. I use this all the time. It's like one of the most perfect filler flowers that's out there. It just has a lovely smell. It has a lovely scale to it. It's just really pretty. Like, it just smells really great. And when you strip down the stems of this, when you do that, it releases an oil that, it smells so good, and it's not too potent at all. All right, where do I want to put these guys? I'll put them right here. All right, so I have gotten a few varieties of greenery. One of my go-to is salal or lemon leaf. These guys are it's just a workhorse greenery. It doesn't necessarily need to be in water. So if you're doing like an arch or a pergola, I would suggest using this just because it's not going to die. It will die eventually, but I'm talking like days or weeks later. This stuff is so great, but it's really good to get it kind of, not so clumped together, loosen it up a little bit. If you want to put it in water, that's great. And if it's a really hot month, I typically do, but I get it from the flower market out of water. And sometimes it doesn't need to need that. So I'm going to set these guys aside. This is Robellini. I wanted to use this because there's kind of a tropical nouveau happening. There's like a tropical, like lots of ferns, just a really different texture to greenery. This gives a lot of reach. Again, if you're doing big arrangements for your ceremony, if you're doing an arch and you just need a lot of fullness to it, but you don't want to spend a lot of money, get greenery that's going to last and that's going to give you that fullness without needing tons and tons and tons. This is 10 stems of Robellini, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I just take off the rubber band, and this is one stem. It's absolutely beautiful. So imagine what this is going to be like in your, I keep wanting to say centerpiece, but you could use them in centerpieces, but they're pretty grand. You could actually just use these as a centerpiece. It's a really beautiful greenery, but this is Robellini. I'm gonna also set this aside. And then I wanted to give a little bit of texture and color variation, so I just went with our standard baby blue eucalyptus. So I think it's baby blue. There's a lot of varieties of eucalyptus, and this one is a really hardy variety. It's also, again, it gives you a lot of reach. It's pretty rigid. It's a workhorse. It's going to last a long time. So if you wanted to create these a day or so before your ceremony, you're not going to have to worry is it going to last? Is it going to be dead by the time? No, this is a workhorse. It smells really great too. All right, so I have just completely sped through that, but I just wanted to give you guys a sneak peek of the product that we're going to be filming tomorrow for our centerpiece tutorial. Dang it, not centerpiece. For our ceremony tutorials. Like I said, we're going to be doing large urns, pergola, arches. Just a lot of times people want big statement pieces for your ceremony. And we're going to show you how to do that. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and we look forward to sharing the rest of our tutorials. Hope you have a good day. Wait.